The handcuffs clicked shut around Dr. Isaiah Carter's wrists in the marble lobby of the Meridian Grand, while 200 guests recorded every second. Security didn't know they just handcuffed the man who owned all 47 hotels in the chain. What happened in the next 20 minutes would change the luxury hotel industry forever. Dr. Isaiah Carter adjusted his Tom Ford cufflinks as he stepped out of the black Mercedes S-Class at the Meridian Grand's entrance. The valet barely glanced at him before returning his attention to the white couple emerging from a Bentley behind him. "Excuse me, sir," Carter said quietly. The valet turned, annoyance flickering across his young face. "Parking is self-service around the corner. This entrance is for hotel guests only." Carter didn't correct him. Not yet. He'd learned over 52 years that premature corrections rarely taught lasting lessons. Instead, he rolled his Toomey suitcase toward the gilded revolving doors, his Bruno Magli shoes, silent on the red carpet. Inside, the Meridian Grand's lobby was exactly as he'd designed it 18 years ago. 30-foot ceilings, Venetian chandeliers, marble imported from Carrara, Italy. Every detail perfect, every surface gleaming. His life's work made manifest in stone and gold. At the front desk, a blonde woman in her late 20s looked up from her computer. Her name tag read, Madison Pierce, front desk supervisor. Her smile faltered when she saw Carter approaching. "Can I help you?" Her tone suggested she very much hoped she couldn't. "Reservation for Carter," he replied, sliding his passport and Amex Centurion card across the marble counter. Madison picked up the passport with obvious reluctance, comparing the photo to his face with theatrical suspicion. "This reservation is for the presidential suite. That's our most expensive accommodation at $12,000 per night." "I'm aware." "And you're Dr. Carter?" "I am." She typed something into her computer, her acrylic nails clicking against the keys with aggressive precision. "I'm going to need additional verification. The presidential suite requires special authorization for—" She paused, searching for diplomatic phrasing. "Walk-in guests." Carter remained perfectly still, his decades of hospitality experience recognizing the microaggression immediately. White guests in expensive suits were never walk-in guests, requiring special authorization. But what Madison didn't know, what none of them knew, was that every word of this conversation was being recorded by the hotel's new AI-powered guest service monitoring system. A system Carter himself had commissioned 3 months earlier to test exactly this kind of bias. "Sir, I'm going to need you to step aside while I verify this reservation." Madison gestured toward the lobby seating area, where a family of 4 stared openly at the confrontation. "I'll wait here," Carter replied calmly. Behind him, he could hear whispered conversations, feel the weight of assumption and judgment. A distinguished white couple approached the desk. Madison's demeanor transformed instantly. Warm smile, welcoming tone. "Welcome to the Meridian Grand. How may I assist you today?" They hadn't made a reservation. Within 90 seconds, Madison had assigned them to a junior suite, upgraded them complimentarily, and arranged champagne service, all without special authorization. Carter watched the interaction with the trained eye of someone who'd spent 30 years perfecting luxury hospitality. Madison was efficient, charming, professional. She was also demonstrating textbook racial profiling. When she finally returned to Carter, her expression had hardened further. "Sir, there seems to be some irregularity with your credit card. Our system is flagging it as potentially problematic." The Amex Centurion card, issued to fewer than 20,000 people worldwide, requiring $250,000 in annual spending, was flagged as problematic. "What specifically is the problem?" Carter asked. "The account name doesn't match our typical client profile for the presidential suite." Translation: "You don't look like someone who can afford $12,000 per night." A small crowd had gathered now. Hotel guests pretending to admire the artwork while actually recording the confrontation on their phones. Carter noticed a young black woman in business attire, watching with the pained recognition of someone who'd experienced similar treatment. "Madison, I'd like to speak with your manager." Her eyes flashed with vindication. "Of course, though I should warn you, Mr. Henderson doesn't appreciate guests who try to cause problems." She picked up the phone, whispering urgently into the receiver. Carter used the pause to scan the lobby. Every detail was perfect, except for the systematic bias that had infected his staff without his knowledge. What Madison absolutely did not know was that Carter had personally interviewed and hired Mr. Henderson 8 months ago, that Henderson reported directly to Carter's chief operating officer, that this entire interaction was about to become the most expensive training moment in luxury hotel history. But first, the situation would need to get much worse. Mr. Gregory Henderson emerged from the executive offices with the bearing of someone unaccustomed to being questioned. 53 years old, impeccably groomed, with the kind of confidence that comes from 2 decades in luxury hospitality management. I understand we have a guest relations issue. His eyes landed on Carter with barely concealed disapproval. Sir, the Meridian Grand maintains very high standards. If there's been some confusion about your reservation— No confusion, Carter interrupted quietly. I have a confirmed reservation for the presidential suite. What I'm experiencing is something else entirely. Henderson's jaw tightened. Madison, show me the reservation details. As Madison pulled up the information, Carter noticed the lobby had grown conspicuously quiet. Guests pretended to read their phones while actually recording. The concierge staff whispered urgently among themselves. Dr. Carter, Henderson read from the screen, his tone suggesting the title was likely fabricated. Reservation made 3 weeks ago through our VIP booking line. Presidential suite, 7 nights, $84,000 total. He looked up. The payment method is showing some irregularities. What irregularities? The credit card on file. It's highly unusual for this type of transaction. Translation: We don't believe a black man can afford this suite. Carter reached into his briefcase, the movement causing Madison to step back nervously, and withdrew a folder. These are my banking statements from Chase Private Client, showing $4.7 million in available credit. My investment portfolio with Goldman Sachs, showing $127 million in managed assets. And my tax returns for the past 3 years, showing annual income exceeding $8 million. He laid each document on the counter with surgical precision. Will this suffice for your verification process? The lobby had gone completely silent. Even the fountain seemed to hold its breath. Henderson's face cycled through shock, embarrassment, and calculation. Dr. Carter, there's obviously been a terrible misunderstanding. Madison, please process this reservation immediately. And sir, please accept my sincere— Before you finish that sentence, Carter said quietly, I need to inform you of something. He pulled out his phone and opened an app showing real-time surveillance feeds. 3 months ago, I commissioned a study of guest service bias across luxury hotels. This property was part of that study. Every interaction at this desk for the past 90 days has been recorded, transcribed, and analyzed by AI algorithms designed to detect racial profiling. Henderson's color drained completely. Would you like to know what we discovered? Before Henderson could respond, a commotion erupted near the elevators. A middle-aged white woman in designer clothes rushed toward the front desk, her face flushed with panic. Someone has stolen my necklace from the presidential suite. I want security called immediately. Henderson's attention snapped to the woman. Mrs. Vanderbilt, please calm down. When did you notice?
Just now. I went to the spa for 1 hour. 1 hour. And when I returned, my $75,000 Cartier necklace was missing from the suite.
The lobby erupted in whispers. Mrs. Vanderbilt was a known regular at the Meridian Grand, a socialite whose family had oil money stretching back 3 generations. Madison immediately looked at Carter. The implication was instantaneous and unmistakable. Security, Henderson shouted toward the back offices. We need security in the lobby immediately. Carter remained perfectly still, his briefcase in one hand, his phone displaying the surveillance feeds in the other. He knew exactly what was about to happen. He'd seen this pattern play out in dozens of bias training scenarios. 2 security guards emerged, both white, both military-bearing, both radiating the kind of authority that brooked no argument. We have a theft from the presidential suite, Henderson explained rapidly. Mrs. Vanderbilt's necklace, worth $75,000. We need to secure the lobby and check everyone who's been near the executive floors in the past 2 hours. The lead security guard, whose name tag read Robert Mitchell, head of security, surveyed the lobby. His eyes landed on Carter and stayed there. "Sir," Mitchell said, moving toward him, "I'm going to need you to remain exactly where you are." What Robert Mitchell didn't know, what absolutely no one in that lobby knew, was that Dr. Isaiah Carter didn't just own the Meridian Grand. He owned the security company that had trained Mitchell. He owned the insurance company that covered the hotel's liability. He owned the property management firm that ran the daily operations. He owned everything. And everyone was about to find out. "Am I being detained?" Carter asked calmly. His lawyer instincts from his Cornell law degree immediately activated. "We're conducting an investigation into a serious theft," Mitchell replied, his hand moving to his radio. "I need you to empty your pockets and your briefcase." The request hung in the air like smoke. Around the lobby, phones rose higher. Recording angles adjusted. Someone whispered, "This is crazy," loud enough to be heard. "On what grounds?" Carter asked. "You've been loitering near the front desk for 20 minutes. You had a confrontation with staff. You're carrying an expensive briefcase, and you were attempting to access the presidential suite, the same suite where the theft occurred." Every word was a landmine of racial profiling. Loitering, confrontation, suspicious presence near the scene. Mrs. Vanderbilt pointed at Carter with a diamond-encrusted finger. "I saw him earlier, near the elevators. I remember thinking he looked out of place." The crowd's murmur grew louder. Carter noticed the young black woman from earlier had her phone out, live streaming to what appeared to be thousands of viewers. Her caption read, "Racial profiling at luxury hotel live." "Sir, this is your final warning," Mitchell said, reaching for his handcuffs. "Empty your pockets and your briefcase, or I will detain you for obstruction." Carter looked directly at Henderson. "Mr. Henderson, before this situation escalates further, I strongly recommend you call your regional director." "I don't take orders from guests," Henderson snapped, his embarrassment from earlier transforming into defensive aggression. "Mitchell, detain him." The handcuffs came out. Carter didn't resist as Mitchell pulled his arms behind his back. The cold metal clicked shut around his wrists while 200 people recorded every second. The humiliation was complete. A successful black man in a $5,000 suit, handcuffed in a luxury hotel lobby, accused of theft based purely on the color of his skin. "Someone call the police," Madison shouted into her phone. "We have a suspect in custody for grand theft." What none of them realized was that Carter's phone, still in his jacket pocket, was streaming directly to 3 people: his chief legal officer, his VP of operations, and most critically, the CEO of the parent company that managed the Meridian Grand's franchise agreement. The countdown to revelation had begun, and it would be devastating. The police arrived 12 minutes later. 2 officers, both responding to a potential grand theft situation. Officer Janet Rodriguez, a 15-year veteran, entered first, assessing the scene with experienced eyes. "Who called this in?" Rodriguez asked. "Hotel security," Mitchell replied, still gripping Carter's arm. "We have a suspect in custody. High-value theft from our presidential suite. $75,000 necklace." Rodriguez approached Carter, noting his expensive suit, his calm demeanor, his complete lack of resistance. "Sir, what's your name?" "Dr. Isaiah Carter." "Do you have any identification?" "In my wallet. Inside jacket pocket, left side." Rodriguez carefully retrieved the wallet. Inside, driver's license, multiple credit cards, and a business card that made her pause. She studied it for a long moment before looking back at Carter. "Sir, this business card says you're—" "Officer Rodriguez," Henderson interrupted sharply. "We need him searched immediately. He's been behaving suspiciously for the past 30 minutes. My staff has documented multiple irregularities in his behavior." Rodriguez held up a hand. "Mr. Henderson, General Manager. Mr. Henderson, I need you to step back and let me conduct my investigation." She turned to Carter. "Dr. Carter, do you consent to a search of your briefcase?" "I do not." The crowd gasped. Mitchell's grip tightened. That's probable cause right there. Rodriguez ignored him. Sir, can you tell me why you're at this hotel? I had a reservation for the presidential suite. These staff members refused to honor that reservation and accused me of fraud. Then, when a theft occurred elsewhere in the building, they immediately assumed I was responsible. All of this has been recorded by multiple witnesses. He gestured with his head toward the crowd of phones. Mrs. Vanderbilt pushed forward. Officer, I saw this man near the elevators. He was clearly casing the building. Ma'am, when did you see him? Well, I'm not sure exactly, but it was definitely suspicious. Rodriguez's skepticism was visible. She'd seen this pattern before. Assumptions based on appearance rather than evidence. Mitchell, she addressed the security guard. What actual evidence do you have connecting this man to the theft? Mitchell stammered. He was behaving suspiciously. He had a confrontation with staff. He was trying to access the same floor where... That's not evidence. That's profiling. The words dropped like a bomb. Henderson's face went crimson. Madison looked like she might be sick, but the real explosion was about to happen, because Carter's phone, still streaming, had just connected to a conference call with 7 people who were about to change everything. Carter's phone buzzed in his pocket. The ringtone, Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, cut through the tension like a blade. May I answer that? Carter asked Rodriguez calmly. Who's calling? I believe it's my attorney. Rodriguez nodded. Go ahead, carefully. Mitchell retrieved the phone from Carter's jacket pocket, still streaming video to thousands of viewers. The caller ID showed Sarah Chen, chief legal counsel. Rodriguez held the phone to Carter's ear since his hands were still cuffed. Dr. Carter. Sarah Chen's voice boomed loud enough for everyone nearby to hear. I've been watching the live stream. We have 7 attorneys standing by. Do you want us to proceed with immediate legal action? Henderson's face went from crimson to ash gray. Not yet, Sarah, Carter replied calmly. But please conference in James Morrison. Understood. Connecting now. The phone clicked. A new voice joined. Older, authoritative, deeply concerned. Isaiah? It's James. What the hell is happening at the Meridian Grand? Henderson's knees actually buckled. He gripped the front desk for support. James Morrison was the CEO of Luxury Destinations International, the parent company that franchised the Meridian Grand. He was also Carter's former business partner from 20 years ago. James, I'm currently handcuffed in the lobby of the Meridian Grand. I've been accused of theft, denied service based on racial profiling, and detained without probable cause. All of this has been recorded by approximately 200 witnesses. The silence on the other end was deafening. Put Henderson on the phone. Now. Rodriguez held the phone to Henderson's ear. His hand shook so violently he couldn't have held it himself. Mr. Morrison, shut up and listen. Morrison's voice could have stripped paint. Do you have any idea who you just handcuffed? Sir, we were responding to